Are you doing everything right? Eating clean, cutting sugar, trying to sleep better, yet you still wake up tired, inflamed, or struggling with stubborn weight? What if the issue isn't what you're eating during the day, but what your body can't finish repairing at night? Here's a surprising fact most people don't realize. Your body does its deepest metabolic healing while you sleep, not while you're awake. And if that nighttime repair system is undersupported, no diet or workout can fully compensate. Tonight, I want to show you something incredibly simple and science-backed that quietly supports that overnight healing process. 1 cup of clove water before bed. Now, cloves are not trendy, they're not exotic, and they don't come in a fancy supplement bottle. But what's fascinating is that cloves contain some of the highest concentrations of bioactive compounds found in any spice, especially eugenol, polyphenols, and flavonoids that directly interact with your liver, gut, insulin sensitivity, inflammation, and even your nervous system. Here's what's really going on inside your body. At night, your liver shifts into detox and metabolic repair mode. Your gut lining regenerates. Your insulin sensitivity resets. Your brain clears metabolic waste. And your hormones, especially cortisol and melatonin, try to rebalance. But this entire process depends on 3 things: low inflammation, stable blood sugar, adequate antioxidant, and enzyme support. Most people unknowingly sabotage all 3: late night snacks, blood sugar spikes, poor digestion, and chronic oxidative stress. That's where clove water comes in, not as a miracle drink, not as a cure, but as a metabolic signal, a gentle nudge that tells your body, now is the time to repair, calm inflammation, and restore balance. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 10 powerful, science-supported benefits of drinking 1 cup of clove water before bed, benefits that touch fat burning, liver health, insulin control, gut repair, sleep quality, and healthy aging. And more importantly, I'll explain why these benefits happen using simple physiology and real-world analogies so you understand the mechanism, not just the claim. Because when you understand the why, you stop chasing hacks and you start working with your biology. We'll also talk about the exact timing that matters, who should not use clove water, how to prepare it properly so it supports, not stresses, your system. And if this kind of root cause, science-driven breakdown is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day focused on helping you optimize your metabolism, energy, and longevity naturally. So let's slow this down, go step by step, and start with the first and most misunderstood benefit of clove water before bed. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you drink clove water before bed, and why this matters so much for fat burning and metabolic repair. Most people think fat loss happens in the gym or during the day, but physiologically, your body decides whether to burn fat or store it while you sleep. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin like a storage manager. When insulin is high, your body is in storage mode, storing glucose, storing fat, storing energy. When insulin is low, your body finally switches into burn and repair mode. At night, insulin should drop. That drop is what allows fat cells to release energy, your liver to process stored fat, and your muscles to restore insulin sensitivity for the next day. But here's the problem. For millions of people, nighttime insulin never fully comes down. Why? Late dinners, hidden sugars, poor digestion, chronic inflammation, stress-driven cortisol spikes. Even if you haven't eaten in hours, unstable blood sugar can cause microspikes of insulin overnight, just enough to block fat burning and fragment sleep. This is where clove water becomes interesting. What the research shows is that cloves contain bioactive compounds, especially eugenol and polyphenols, that improve insulin signaling and glucose handling. These compounds help your cells respond better to insulin, meaning your pancreas doesn't need to release as much of it. In simple terms, clove water helps quiet the insulin noise at night. Instead of blood sugar dipping too low and rebounding, or staying slightly elevated and inflammatory, your glucose curve smooths out. That stability sends a powerful signal to your body. It's safe to burn stored fuel. Now here's the whiteboard moment. Imagine your liver at night as a cleaning crew. If insulin is high, that crew gets interrupted constantly. But when insulin stays low and stable, the liver can finally move through its full checklist. Processing fat, clearing excess glucose, managing cholesterol particles, supporting detox pathways. This is why people who stabilize nighttime blood sugar often notice less belly fat resistance, fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups, better morning energy, reduced late-night cravings over time. Clove water isn't sedating, it's regulating. Now let's make this practical. How to use clove water for blood sugar support. Use 1 cup, not more. Drink it 30-60 minutes before bed. Avoid adding honey, sugar, or lemon at night. Pair it with a protein-centered dinner earlier in the evening, a simple preparation. 3-4 whole cloves. Steep in hot water for 10-15 minutes. Let it cool slightly before drinking. Consistency matters more than dose. And one important note, if you're already hypoglycemic or on blood sugar lowering medications, this is something to approach gently and discuss with your clinician. Now, if this explanation is helping you see metabolism differently, not as willpower, but as physiology, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day, focused on helping you work with your body instead of fighting it, because once nighttime insulin is under control, everything else becomes easier. And in the next section, we'll talk about why clove water has such a powerful effect on the liver, the true metabolic control center that determines long-term weight, energy, and aging. Here's something most people never hear explained clearly. Your liver is the real boss of your metabolism, not your thyroid, not your muscles, not even your calories. If your liver is overloaded, inflamed, or metabolically confused, fat loss stalls, energy drops, and hormones drift out of balance, no matter how healthy your diet looks. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every night, while you sleep, your liver switches roles. During the day, it manages incoming fuel. At night, it becomes a metabolic repair and detox organ. Think of it like a factory that stops production and runs maintenance overnight. But there's a catch. If the liver is dealing with excess blood sugar, alcohol, or ultra-processed foods, chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, that maintenance shift never fully happens. Instead of repairing cells and processing stored fat, the liver stays stuck in damage control mode. This is where clove water plays a surprisingly powerful role. Cloves are one of the richest natural sources of eugenol, a compound shown in research to support liver enzyme activity and reduce oxidative stress in liver tissue. What the research shows is that eugenol helps neutralize free radicals that damage liver cells and interfere with detox pathways. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your liver as a filter. If that filter is clogged with debris, it can't clean anything effectively. Oxidative stress is that debris. Clove polyphenols act like cleaning agents for the filter, not by forcing detox, but by reducing the oxidative burden so your liver enzymes can do their job naturally. This matters because your liver controls fat metabolism, cholesterol particle size, hormone clearance, including estrogen and cortisol, conversion of thyroid hormone T4 into active T3. When liver function improves, people often notice less fat stored around the midsection, improved digestion, and less bloating. Clearer skin, more stable mood and energy. And here's an important nuance. Clove water is not a liver flush. It doesn't aggressively push toxins out. Instead, it supports phase 1 and phase 2 detox balance, meaning toxins are processed and safely eliminated, not recirculated. That's critical because aggressive detox without antioxidant support can actually make symptoms worse. How to use clove water to support liver repair. Drink it consistently, not sporadically. Avoid pairing it with alcohol or late-night snacks. Support it with a dinner that includes bitter greens or cruciferous vegetables. Prioritize sleep. Liver repair peaks between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. And a key reminder, if your sleep is shallow, your liver never finishes its work. This is why small nighttime rituals matter more than extreme daytime interventions. You're not boosting the liver, you're getting out of its way. And if this way of thinking, supporting systems instead of chasing symptoms, is resonating with you, take a second to subscribe. I post content like this every day to help you build real, sustainable metabolic health. In the next section, we'll talk about something people rarely connect to metabolism: chronic low-grade inflammation, and how clove water quietly lowers it while you sleep. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Most metabolic damage today doesn't come from acute disease. It comes from chronic, low-grade inflammation, the kind you don't feel dramatically, but that quietly interferes with insulin signaling, hormone balance, joint health, brain clarity, and aging. This is the inflammation that blocks fat cells from releasing energy, makes muscles insulin resistant, stresses the liver and blood vessels, accelerates biological aging. And here's the key point: inflammation is highest at night if your body can't fully downshift. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of inflammation like background static on a radio. You may still hear the music, but it's distorted, inefficient, and exhausting. At night, your body is supposed to turn the volume down. That's how repair happens. But stress, blood sugar instability, gut irritation, and oxidative damage keep the static humming, even while you sleep. This is where clove water becomes metabolically interesting. Cloves are loaded with polyphenols and flavonoids that directly reduce inflammatory signaling pathways, especially those involving NF-κB, a master switch that turns inflammation on or off at the cellular level. What the research shows is that eugenol, the primary bioactive compound in cloves, has both anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects, meaning it reduces the signal and the damage at the same time. That's rare. Most anti-inflammatory agents do one or the other. Now here's the whiteboard moment. Imagine inflammation as a small fire inside your tissues. If you only suppress the smoke, the fire keeps burning. If you only remove fuel but don't calm the flame, damage continues. Clove compounds do both. They reduce oxidative sparks and they quiet inflammatory messaging. That's why people often report less morning stiffness, reduced bloating, improved skin tone, calmer digestion, more stable energy, not overnight, but consistently. And here's something important. Inflammation directly raises cortisol. Elevated nighttime cortisol blocks melatonin, fragments sleep, and pushes the body toward fat storage, especially around the abdomen. By lowering inflammatory load, clove water indirectly supports deeper sleep, better hormonal rhythm, improved metabolic recovery. Now let's talk how to apply this properly, because more is not better. Anti-inflammatory protocol with clove water. Stick to 3-4 whole cloves, not powder. Avoid combining with spicy or acidic foods at night. Don't stack it with stimulants or fat burners. Give it at least 7-10 nights to notice subtle changes. This is about signaling safety, not forcing change. And one more important note: if your inflammation is gut-driven, from poor digestion, food sensitivities, or microbiome imbalance, this benefit becomes even more relevant. Which brings us to the next section. Because inflammation doesn't start in your joints or fat cells, it often starts in the gut. And in the next segment, we'll break down how clove water influences digestion, gut motility, and the microbiome, especially at night, and why that matters for insulin, immunity, and even brain health. If this way of explaining metabolism, calm, science-driven, and practical, is helping you connect the dots, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day for people who want real health improvements without medication. Here's what's really going on inside your body at night when digestion doesn't fully shut down. Your gut is not meant to be working hard while you sleep. At night, digestion should slow, inflammation should drop, and the gut lining should shift into repair mode. But for many people, that never happens. Instead, food sits too long, fermentation increases, gas, bloating, and reflux show up, and bacterial byproducts leak into circulation. This is what we call gut-driven metabolic stress, and it quietly disrupts insulin, hormones, immunity, and sleep quality. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your gut like a highway. During the day, traffic flows. At night, the road should clear so maintenance crews can fix cracks and clean debris. But if traffic never stops, repairs never happen. That's exactly what late meals, poor motility, and weak digestion do. Now here's where clove water becomes uniquely helpful, Cloves have been used traditionally to support digestion, but modern research helps explain why. Clove compounds stimulate digestive enzyme activity, improve gastric emptying, and reduce harmful bacterial overgrowth without wiping out beneficial microbes. What the research shows is that eugenol has mild antimicrobial and antifungal properties, meaning it helps keep microbial populations balanced, not sterilized. That balance matters. An overgrown or irritated gut sends inflammatory signals straight to the liver and brain through the gut-liver axis and vagus nerve. When that signaling quiets down, metabolism improves almost automatically. Here's the whiteboard moment. Imagine your gut lining as a security gate. If it's irritated or inflamed, that gate leaks. When it leaks, immune activation increases, insulin sensitivity drops, and your body shifts into defense mode. Clove water helps calm the gate, not by killing everything, but by reducing irritation and improving movement. People often notice less bloating at night, reduced acid reflux, better bowel regularity in the morning, fewer cravings driven by gut signals, improved mental clarity. And here's the key nighttime advantage. When digestion settles earlier, your migrating motor complex, the gut's natural cleaning wave, can activate properly during sleep. That process literally sweeps debris and excess bacteria out of the small intestine. That's foundational metabolic hygiene. How to use clove water for gut repair. Drink it at least 30 minutes after your last meal. Avoid heavy fats and sugar late at night. Chew dinner thoroughly. Mechanical digestion matters. Pair with a consistent bedtime routine and an important caution. If you have active ulcers, gastritis, or are extremely sensitive, start with 1-2 cloves and assess tolerance. This is about calming the gut, not stimulating it. And if this explanation is helping you understand why digestion, sleep, and metabolism are inseparable, take a moment to subscribe. I post content like this every day for people serious about fixing health at the root. Now, in the next section, we'll move deeper into the nervous system, specifically how clove water affects cortisol, stress signaling, and sleep quality, and why sleep is the ultimate metabolic multiplier. Here's what's really going on inside your body when stress chemistry doesn't shut off at night. Most people think sleep problems are about the brain, but physiologically, poor sleep is a hormonal and nervous system issue first. At night, your body is supposed to shift dominance from cortisol, the stress hormone, to melatonin, the repair hormone. That switch is not automatic. It has to be earned. If cortisol stays even slightly elevated, sleep becomes lighter, shorter, and less restorative, even if you're unconscious for 8 hours. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of cortisol like the gas pedal. Melatonin is the brake. You can't press both at the same time. Now here's the problem. Blood sugar swings, inflammation, gut irritation, and oxidative stress all quietly press the gas pedal at night. So even when you're tired, your nervous system stays alert. This is where clove water becomes unexpectedly powerful. Clove compounds interact with the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch, through both gut signaling and antioxidant pathways. By reducing inflammation and stabilizing glucose, clove water indirectly lowers the stress signals that keep cortisol elevated. What the research shows is that eugenol has neuroprotective and calming effects, helping dampen excessive sympathetic nervous system activity without sedation. That's a key distinction. Clove water doesn't knock you out. It helps your nervous system feel safe enough to rest. Here's the whiteboard moment. Imagine your nervous system like a smoke detector. If there's constant background smoke, inflammation, blood sugar drops, gut irritation, the alarm keeps chirping. Clove water helps clear the smoke. As cortisol comes down, melatonin can rise naturally. And that's when the real benefits happen. Deeper slow-wave sleep, better growth hormone release, improved muscle repair, enhanced fat oxidation, sharper focus the next day. This is why sleep is the ultimate metabolic multiplier. You don't burn fat because you sleep. You burn fat because sleep allows hormones to reset. How to use clove water for nervous system support. Drink it 45 to 60 minutes before bed. Pair it with dim lighting and no screens afterward. Avoid pairing with stimulating supplements. Focus on slow nasal breathing after drinking. Small rituals matter. They tell your nervous system the day is over. And if this section is clicking, if you're starting to see how metabolism, sleep, and stress are inseparable, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you build health from the nervous system outward. Now, in the next section, we'll talk about something people rarely associate with a simple drink like clove water, long-term insulin sensitivity, aging, and metabolic flexibility, and why small nightly habits compound into big changes over years, not weeks. Here's what's really going on inside your body over time. Metabolic health isn't built in bursts. It's built through repeated signals. Every night, your body asks the same question. Is it safe to repair, or do I need to stay in defense mode? When blood sugar is stable, inflammation is low, digestion is calm, and cortisol drops, your cells respond by becoming more insulin sensitive, more flexible, and more efficient at using fat for fuel. That's what we call metabolic flexibility, and it's one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging, stable weight, clear cognition, lower risk of metabolic disease. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your metabolism like a hybrid car. A healthy system switches easily between fuel sources, glucose when needed, fat when appropriate. A metabolically inflexible system is stuck in one gear, constantly dependent on sugar, constantly fatigued, constantly inflamed. Nighttime is when that switching mechanism gets repaired. Now here's where clove water matters long term. By supporting nighttime insulin control, liver repair, inflammation reduction, gut signaling. Nervous system downshifting clove water reinforces the metabolic off switch every night. What the research shows is that repeated exposure to polyphenols improves insulin receptor sensitivity and reduces oxidative damage to mitochondria, the engines of your cells. That's not a quick fix, and that's a trajectory shift. Over weeks to months, people often notice fewer energy crashes, less dependence on snacks, improved fasting tolerance, better body composition without extreme dieting, more resilience to stress. This is how longevity actually works, not through supplements that stimulate, but through habits that restore rhythm. Now let's make this actionable and realistic. Long-term protocol for metabolic benefit. Use clove water 3 to 5 nights per week, not necessarily every night. Combine with a consistent dinner cutoff time. Prioritize sleep timing over sleep duration. Stack with morning light exposure for circadian balance. This is about creating contrast. Active days, restorative nights. And one important reminder, if you expect a single drink to undo years of metabolic stress, you'll miss the point. Clove water is a signal, not a solution. But signals repeated consistently reshape biology. If this way of thinking, long-term, physiology first, sustainable, resonates with you, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day for people who want real metabolic health without chasing extremes. Now, in the final section, we'll tie all of this together: the liver, insulin, gut, inflammation, sleep, and aging. And I'll leave you with a simple challenge you can start tonight. Let's zoom out and connect the dots. Tonight, we didn't talk about a miracle drink. We talked about biology. We talked about how your body heals at night and why so many people unknowingly block that process with unstable blood sugar, liver overload, gut irritation, chronic inflammation, and elevated stress hormones. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you sleep. If insulin stays high, fat burning shuts down. If the liver is inflamed, detox and hormone balance stall. If the gut stays irritated, inflammation and cortisol rise. If cortisol stays elevated, deep sleep never fully arrives. And when those systems don't reset at night, no amount of daytime effort can fully compensate. What 1 cup of clove water before bed does, when used correctly, is support the conditions your body needs to repair itself. It helps stabilize nighttime blood sugar. It reduces oxidative stress on the liver. It quiets low-grade inflammation. It calms gut signaling. It allows cortisol to fall so melatonin can rise, not by forcing the body, but by getting out of its way. This is root cause thinking. This is how functional medicine actually works in real life, not through complexity, but through well-timed, low-cost signals that restore rhythm. Now, here's the part I want you to take seriously. Don't try to change everything at once. Instead, I challenge you to do just one thing. For the next 7 nights, drink 1 simple cup of clove water 30-60 minutes before bed. Keep everything else the same and pay attention to how easily you fall asleep. Whether you wake up during the night, morning energy levels, digestive comfort, cravings the next day, your body will tell you what's working if you listen. Remember, your metabolism is not broken. It's responding to signals. Change the signal, and the response follows. And if this video added value, if it helped you see your health through a clearer, calmer, more scientific lens, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. I post content like this every day for people who are serious about optimizing metabolism, energy, weight, and longevity naturally, without medication, extremes, or fear, because real health isn't built through hacks. It's built through understanding, consistency, and respect for how your body was designed to heal. I'll see you in the next video.